Thank you for staying with us. The Lagos State High Court in Ikeja has ruled that the removal of Mudashiru Obasa as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly is illegal, unconstitutional, null and void. The court in a judgment delivered today also declared the proceedings and resolutions of the House which led to Obasa's ousting on January 13, 2025, declaring it null and void. While Obasa, the reinstated Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, had filed a lawsuit against the House of Assembly and the newly appointed Speaker at the time, who was Mojisola Miranda, VP News gathered that the ruling was passed by Justice Yetunde Pihero of the Lagos State High Court. The suit was filed on February 12, 2025 through his counsel, Afolabi Fashanu, and argued that his removal was carried out while the Assembly was on recess and he was outside the country. He contended that the sitting during which he was removed was unlawfully convened, lacking proper authority or any formal delegation of power from the Speaker's office. Obasa's legal challenge was anchored on 9 grounds, relying on provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended and the rules and standing orders of the Lagos State House of Assembly. The court's ruling effectively reinstates Obasa as Speaker and renders null and void all decisions taken during the contested season. Now, in a very recent development, however, the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Rivers State Oversight has invited the state sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, for an interactive session on Thursday, being April 17, 2025. Akin Rotimi Jr., the spokesperson for the House of Representatives, made the announcement today following the committee's first meeting earlier in the day. The meeting came after the committee's official inauguration by the Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin, on Tuesday, April 15, 2025. Rotimi explained that the meeting served as an opportunity for the committee to discuss initial reports and developments from Rivers State since the appointment of Vice Admiral Ibas as the sole administrator. He further noted that the committee's constitutional mandate under Section 111, subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended required them to exercise full legislative oversight. Rotimi emphasized that the engagement with the sole administrator was essential to understanding the true state of affairs in Rivers State and ensuring the House fulfills its oversight responsibilities in the public interest. The meeting with Vice Admiral Ibas will take place on Thursday, April 17, being tomorrow, at 4 p.m. in room 414 of the House of Representatives' new building, National Assembly Complex in Abuja. Now, in Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutfwang has disclosed that every community must defend itself in response to the growing wave of attacks and mass killings in the state attributed to suspected armed headers. VOP News gathered that over 100 persons have been killed in a series of attacks in Basa local government area of Plateau State in the past 2 weeks, while making reference to the latest attack which took place early Monday morning when gunmen raided the Zike and Kimakwa communities in Kwao district of Iregwe Chiefdom. More than 50 people were killed. Several houses and properties destroyed and razed. Governor Mutfwang, who visited the affected communities on Tuesday, expressed his concern over the security challenges which he said have hindered the state's growth and development. He further revealed that the state government had made significant investments in technology to address these security issues. He further explained that the security issues, which includes insurgency and terrorism, have deprived the state of its natural resources and its slowed development. The governor, however, commiserated with the families of victims and promised to ensure that the perpetrators were brought to justice. He also thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his support and urged security agencies to intensify their efforts in addressing the security challenges in the state. Meanwhile, the Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi has urged President Bola Tinubu to halt his ongoing retreat in France and return to Nigeria immediately to address the spate of insecurity in the country. Peter Obi, in a statement via his X handle on Wednesday, April 16, 2025, said the call became necessary due to the rising incident of crimes and criminalities all over Nigeria with an apparent absence of governance. The former governor of Anambra State lamented that in 2 weeks, over 150 Nigerians have lost their lives to insecurity across Nigeria, especially in Plateau and Zamfara states, including recently Benue. According to Peter Obi, the primary duty of any government is securing the lives and property of its citizens, and one wonders about the type of retreat the president is attending in another country where their leaders have secured peace, with blood continuing to flow in Nigeria. Well, in a very recent development, the former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, has condemned the killing of Basa and Bokos residents of Plateau State. Well, 2 weeks ago, herdsmen launched attacks on 5 communities in Bokos area, killing at least 52 residents. On Sunday night, suspected herdsmen again launched attacks on the Zike community of Basa local government area, killing 51 residents. In a statement today, the Senator of Sokoto South described the attacks as cruel and unjustified. Senator Tambuwal called on the government to live up to its responsibility of protecting Nigerians' lives and property. In a very recent development as well, multiple individuals are believed to have lost their lives in a recent violent assault on Emichi village located in Otukpo local government area of Benue State. VP News revealed that the armed assailants invaded the community at approximately 2 p.m. today, April 16, 2025, firing indiscriminately at the inhabitants in broad daylight. Also, according to Daily Post, sources indicated that frightened residents sought refuge as there were no security forces present to provide assistance during the attack. The incident follows closely on the heels of a previous attack which occurred less than 24 hours earlier, resulting in the brutal death of 11 individuals in Otobi Akpa, allegedly at the hands of suspected heads terrorists. Well, there are more developments as to the number of persons who died as a result of the attack today. While the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, has opined that social media is a terrorist organization, the monarch made this known while speaking during the 7th Executive Committee meeting of the Northern Traditional Rulers Council in Maiduguri, Borno State. The Sultan cited social media's role in spreading false information, inciting unrest, adding that security agencies should treat social media platforms with the same seriousness as other threats to national security. He said social media is one terrorist organization. Somebody can sit in the comfort of their home, formulate stories, and you will consider that it is true. Social media is a terrorist organization that we must deal with. Security agencies must deal with this terrorist organization called social media. Meanwhile, the Sultan has stated that traditional leaders are more deeply troubled by the ongoing killings and insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria than many politicians in the country. The Sultan noted that these leaders have convened as dedicated servants of the nation to address pressing security concerns in a private session. While expressing hope that the security challenges in the north can be addressed, the first-class traditional ruler emphasized that this can only happen if political, traditional and religious leaders, along with the general populace, demonstrate sincerity and willingness to contribute to the solution. The Sultan therefore clarified that traditional leaders are not in competition with state governors but are instead there to support them. You're listening to the World News right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll head into more news with our news analyst. Do stay with us. Well, while we're trying to continue trying to get in touch with our analyst, in a very, very breaking recent development, the Rivers State government has denied viral reports that the sole administrator of the state, Ibok Ete Ibas, has summoned the governor, suspended governor Sim Fubara, and his deputy Ngozi Udu. Well, you know that very recently, last night, reports came out that through the Secretary of the State Government, Ibibia Loki Worika, claiming that Ibas directed Fubara to present comprehensive documentation and records of appointments, including justifications and procedures followed over the past 2 years of his administration. According to this viral statement, Worika allegedly disclosed that the summons will also serve as an opportunity for the suspended governor to explain why he believes he should be reinstated to office. But reacting in a statement on Wednesday, the Permanent Secretary, Special Services Bureau, Office of the Secretary of the Rivers State Government, said that Samson Friday dismissed the report and said it was fake. He urged the public to disregard the report and statements, including any similar misinformation, as they are the work of troublemakers seeking to destabilize the state. I have right here via the telephone Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, good evening and thank you for joining us this evening on the World News at 6. Barrister Tunji, can you hear me? All right, let me place you. Yes, I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me now? All right, Barrister Tunji, very recently, we've had another attack in Benue State. This one actually happened at 2 p.m. this afternoon. This is just as the situation in Plateau State, which occurred on Monday. Nigerians are just trying to wrap their heads around it. In a brazen attempt, this terrorist again decided to attack Benue community. Now, remember that this same state was a state that 2 days ago, the presidential candidate of the 2023 elections in Labour parties actually said he wanted to visit the IDP camps in Benue State. And barely a day after that caused an uprising where Governor Aliya wrote a letter and said that he will not be responsible for his safety. We're hearing of attacks in Benue. Now, one happened last night, and this afternoon another happened. So is this a calculated attempt to just completely destabilize the country? Attacks are happening simultaneously across every region in the Federation. What is the meaning of this?
The meaning of it is that we have insecurity in the country. We have a country that the people who are in charge cannot longer secure. We have countries or states where non-state actors are now in charge of the state. That is it. The failure of the government is what happened. The responsibility of the government is to provide security and welfare. So, and if people are being killed, and it shows that there's a failure of security. You see, we are not, unfortunately, the president who is the commander-in-chief of our forces, despite all these things that's happening, he's not in the country, and he doesn't even give me peace to return to the country to come and attend to it. In fact, he's putting pressure and blame on the state governors, just like what the command he gave in Plateau State, asking the governor to deal with it. That's the my interpretation of what he said. Just go and deal with it, it's your problem. And unfortunately, again, those states that don't have oil, and they don't have Mr. Wiki in their state, and therefore there won't be any state of emergency to go put more pressure to the security there. There's nothing like that. So for me, it's failure of government. That's just it.
Well, don't you think that the National Assembly ought to have responded to this calamity? Do you know that it happens to be right now that the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Moftwang, is telling residents to arm themselves and defend themselves? You also recall that after the first attack happened in Bakos local government, where more than 52 persons were killed, the DSS boss actually told Nigerians at the time that the security agencies will not be able to do everything and that they should also try and look for means to protect themselves. That statement was made, and we've had simultaneous attacks in Enugu. We've had another attack in Plateau, a recent attack in Benue. In fact, happening simultaneously 2 different times. Governor Hyacinth Aliya has not come out to say anything. I mean, it's quite surprising to hear that some governors that ought to raise their voices are silent over what you call political tendencies, seeking re-election for a second term. While some political bureaucrats are gearing themselves towards re-election in 2027, they are silent to the pressing issues. What is going on with the National Assembly and why are they quiet and moribund about this? So why the silence, the loud silence from the National Assembly members, especially the Senate President?
When you are overwhelmed or you don't have the capacity, what do? Or you don't even have the machinery or the facility to take care of what's on ground.
The Chief of Defense Staff assured us that they had the capacity, they had the men to handle insecurity in Nigeria. So was that all a ruse?
We have always been having these assurances from so many governments, not even today. They have always been they are always under control. And the situation is under control all the time. We've always been having people that will come and say, we are in charge. Nothing will happen again. We had National Security Advisor. We had what he said recently. That everywhere is now safe. We cannot move from one place to another. See, and unfortunately now, those who are supposed to even provide this security, now pushing it to the people. I listened to one of the essays to the president this afternoon. All the thing is saying is about people. People should just people should do this, people should do that. And see, they no longer have responsibility of providing security to the people. So for me, you cannot give what you don't have. One of the people in charge of authority in this country or in charge of exercising certain power and giving us a certain result don't have the capacity. They don't have what it takes to deliver. That's why you cannot see them. You see them don't do anything. Like I said, I will not even blame the governors too. That's not to say I'm excusing them all. But the major blame goes to the president. The president is the commander-in-chief of armed forces. As a governor, yes, you are the commander-in-chief of your state. Yes, you are on paper. You are seen as the chief security officer of the state. Then do they have the control of these people? Even if they have the control, we have the same way every year. How many we have insecurity in the Plateau state? You have insecurity in Benue state. You have insecurity in River state. You have insecurity in so many, almost all the states in Nigeria. What is the number of the personnel that we have in our military? Total of them combined. What can they do? They are overwhelmed. And there's nothing they can do. And most of them are not even well nominated. Somebody said yesterday, I was speaking to me, a former general of the army said, when you give somebody 50,000 naira as salary, and you expect him to die, if I be selling things every day, that's what it to me put that. So for me, there is no motivation, there is no enough encouragement. Those in charge are not lackadaisical. They are concerned. They are only. We have we don't. You talk about national assembly. I don't believe we have a national assembly that is for us. As long as the matter is not or does not bring any gain to those in leadership, they will not be bothered much. And that's why you don't see them make any statement without even put any pressure on those who are supposed to give us this result. They can say anything. They don't even ask the president to double up and provide this leadership that he promised to give us. He is not in the country. A lot of killing almost every day, and the president is not there. He's not as if he's even on the official major assignment. He's on working all the day. All the day. Not even say that he went for a conference, he went for a special meeting or whatever, or to sign an agreement or this and that is so important that I cannot leave. He said he's going for an holiday, working holiday. And first, there are killings in the country, and the president is still there. He didn't deem it fit to come back. You see, we have a country where people are in charge, are not ready to deliver, and they cannot deliver because they don't have the.
All right, Barrister Tinji. Comrade Atiku Abubakar Isa, the president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, has accused the president's son, Seyi Tinubu, and Ladoja Olushola, a rival faction leader, of being behind his abduction by gun-wielding thugs in Abuja on Tuesday. A press statement was made available to Saharan reporters on Wednesday, beginning today, signed by Comrade Atiku himself. He said he was beaten, subjected to dehumanizing treatment. The Nans president said he was also forced to record an involuntary statement at the Nigerian Television Authority studio. He claimed that Seyi Tinubu declared him an enemy after his overwhelming election as Nans president at the 125th convention of the association, and stated that he had written several petitions to the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies about threats to his life, but nothing was done. So the question is, what is the president's son business with the activities of Nans? If this man claims that the president's son had an inducement or had a hand in those who supposedly dehumanized him, beat him up, why will the president's son be involved in any political activity within the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students? What is the modus operandi? What is his business with the group?
Unfortunately, what we have today now, what we have on ground now is a one-sided story by the Nans man. Until we have to wait and hear the fourth son. The fourth son so when I hear his response, I can make my opinion known in that regard. And then you see the security agencies, this is a serious allegation against the fourth son.
Yes.
And then they expect the security agencies to do proper investigation and unravel the truth of it. Unfortunately, the truth may not come. They may not even do any investigation. I will be surprised if the guy is not even further invited or further questioning and probably prosecuted for false information or for one thing or the other. I will not be surprised because I have seen experience of that. I've seen people who have been detained on the allegation of making a pronouncement or statement regarding the first lady or not even on this one alone. This present first lady and the former first lady.
Yes.
The people who are detained because of that. So for me, it borders on what I've been saying earlier on.
Yes.
That there is no proper governance in the country. Things are not done the way it is done. The laws are not being followed. When people talk about it, we don't have law. It's not the law. There's no law says recognize a first lady. No law recognizes the office of the first son of the president. No law allows the first son to operate as a government officer or SA or PA or whatever to the president. Then yes, he's doing that. Nobody's talking. Nothing is happening. He's using the private jet of the office of the president, and nothing is happening. He's spending money that we don't even know how. Anyway, you see, we have a country where things are not done the way they be done. That's just it. We have no. Our students are not working the way they should work, and that's why we see what we are seeing. People are being punished.
Barrister, it's quite unfortunate. However, we need to wrap up now. Thank you so much for giving us your insight on some other stories right here on the World News at 6. We sincerely do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, onto stories outside the shores of Nigeria, we have where a federal judge has disclosed today that he has found probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt over the deportation flights that are sent to El Salvador. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg found the government's actions on that day demonstrate a willful disregard for its order, sufficient for the court to conclude that probable cause exists to find the government on criminal contempt. Boasberg ordered any planes that were in the air to be turned around during an emergency hearing on Saturday, March 15, shortly after the White House made public that President Donald Trump had signed an executive order invoking the Alien Enemies Act, a rarely used wartime power, in order to deport alleged members of a Venezuelan gang. Lawyers for the plaintiff in the case said their 5 clients were not members of the Tren de Aragua gang and were being sent to prison in El Salvador without any due process. And that's a wrap for the World News at 6. My name is Esther Nwachuku. Good evening. Thank you for listening. Just stay with us for the evening rush at 7.